Hello everyone, Paolo here again, and today's book number 11 out of my 52 book challenge, wherein I plan to read one book a week or 52 books in a span of 1 year. And today I'm very excited to share with you this week's book of choice, which is Marketing 5.0 by Philip Kotler. For those of you who aren't familiar who Philip Kotler is, he's a very famous marketing expert, and he came up with this book, Marketing 5.0, to really share with everyone. Given all of the technological advancements, how can this impact marketing in general, the field of marketing, and how can we as marketers best leverage on this new technology in further improving our marketing performance? So, as usual, I have five key takeaways for the book. Let's start with the technology for humanity. So, my first key takeaway is technology for humanity. Before diving into it, how the book defines technology for humanity as the application of human mimicking technology to create, communicate, and enhance value across the customer journey. So it's really about understanding the entire customer journey from them being exposed to your brand, your product, all the way to becoming fans, advocates of your product, right? So here he gives a few key examples on how technology can further enhance the marketing experience or the marketing campaign, right? So the first one is predicting market performance. In the past, it was very hard to do this because the technology in the olden times were very limited. But now we could really create a personalized experience. We could drill down to the demographic level of a customer psychograph, even is his or her behavioral patterns. So because of this, we are able to personalize the experience. For example, with the use of sensors, pixels, we are able to gather more information to our customers. So, for example, if you noticed in Facebook, when you search a product online or you talk about it, perhaps, uh, haven't you noticed that whenever you log into your Facebook news feed, you're suddenly shown or exposed to brands about the recent product that you searched, right? So I'm sure a lot of you have experienced that. That's because of the technology called Pixel, wherein think of it as a tracker, wherein all of your digital activities, they're able to monitor and tag you and put you in a certain classification of a person who is interested in that kind of field or that kind of product, right? Because of this, marketers are better able to serve you with relevant content that they feel would interest you, right? The third one is really increasing productivity by outsourcing low-level tasks. So because of this, rather than having to manually tally, results and whatnot, we could use automation, we could use technology to get rid of the administrative task and focus on higher levels of thinking. And lastly is technology can really enhance the your marketing campaigns by speeding up execution and real-time validation. I'd like to highlight the real-time validation. So in the past, it was very costly to do a campaign, right? We were very limited to radio, TV, print, and because of this, it was heavily skewed towards the big corporations who had huge marketing budgets, right? But now, given the age of technology, it shifts the power to SMEs, for example. So rather than have a very large budget and splurge it in all of these large investments like TV ads and so on and so forth, it allows these smaller companies to do smaller scale campaigns with minimal risk and then increment and grow as the business grows. They increase their investment as the business grows. So one example is I'm also a CEO of one of our companies wherein we sell supplements, health supplements. So rather than hire an expensive influencer or a brand ambassador, what we decided to do is leverage on social media, wherein we created a short video campaign that aimed to increase awareness on the benefits of probiotic. So it's really about having that awareness campaign and blasting it through social media, and with the help of, ads manager, we are able to filter down to what kind of customers that we feel would best be interested in our product. So we filtered to the age group, we filtered to the gender, even to their purchase behaviors in the past, and if they are interested or follow any pages pertaining to health supplements. So because of this detailed, hyper specified attributes of a person, we're able to show the right advertisement, the right product at the right time to the right person. So these are, there's a huge, huge advantage for technology, and there's a huge opportunity for marketers to leverage on all of these. So the second key takeaway is what they call the next tech. So if you heard about artificial intelligence, facial recognition, and so on and so forth. These technologies have already been available for quite some time. But because of these six key drivers, we're experiencing and yet to experience a further acceleration of all of these new age technology. So I'll share with you the six key drivers that are enabling the next tech. So the first one is mobile. Very important here because if you notice, more and more people are able to access the internet through their handheld device. In the past, it was very costly for them to buy a laptop, a tablet, or even in remote areas. But now, even here in the Philippines, right, the mobile penetration is even higher than our population. So, given the increase in mobile penetration, a lot of people are able to access the internet, access resources online wherever or whenever they want, right? So that's the one key driver. More and more people have access to a smart handheld device or mobile. The second one is 5G internet. So because of this 5G internet, it empowers a new age of technology wherein we could use different Internet of Things, for example, or sensors that feed information to the cloud or the internet. And based on these informations fed, we are able to learn from it through machine learning. Without getting to technicalities, I'll give an example. For example, the 5G internet enabled Internet of Things. So, for example, if you have a smartwatch or a Fitbit or any health band that you attach to your wrist, right? Because of this, being able to connect to the internet, your device being able to connect to the internet, um, we are able to read your vital statistics. So one great ad there was done by Apple, wherein he was here. I think a biker was riding a mountain trail, and he was wearing an Apple Watch, and then he suddenly fell. Because of this hard fall, it immediately alerted, all of his contacts or emergency contacts that something may have happened. So because of this, it was able to trigger the 5G internet allowed, devices to be connected to the internet, and there are a lot of things that can uh, that we can take we could learn from the data. We could take preventive measures, like for example, if you notice that you have a high heart rate, it can easily trigger an automatic 911 ambulance to arrive in your house. So that's the second one, 5G internet. The third one is big data. So again, because more and more people are connected to the internet, there is huge, huge millions and millions of data available. But being able to, sort all of those data into actionable insights, right? It would empower the next gen technology. The fourth one is open source software. So you heard the likes of, the companies of Elon Musk, Microsoft, Amazon. So because of this open source technology, it's shared information across it's available information, available tech for everyone. So basically, because of open source software, it empowers artificial intelligence or machine learning. So machine learning is basically uh, a machine, a PC, for example, is able to learn from the data it consumes or is fed, right? So the more data it is fed, the smarter it can become, the more accurate the forecast can be. So one example there is, there's in Microsoft, I work for Microsoft, there's this facial recognition app, right? So by simply placing your face in front of a cam, it can determine what age your likely age, right? First try, it may be way off, but as it sees more faces, it starts to learn from past experiences and can project, right? Better make predictions in terms of what age you actually are, right? So again, uh, because of this open source software, we're able to feed these machines with data to improve their accuracy. The last two is computing power and cloud computing. So computing power is, because of this new technology, it requires a lot of data storage, compute power. It requires a lot of memory, RAM, and so on and so forth, right? In the past, it was very costly for you to do that. But now, with cloud providers like Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Alibaba, and so on, rather than having to buy a physical server which costs millions perhaps, and in terms of buying the hardware, and then you need to invest in maintenance and so on and so forth, now you're simply able to rent those services. So with that, in case you have a website, for example, in case that you're expecting Cyber Monday, for example, rather than buy an entire rack or server, you simply pay what you can consume, or what you actually use, right? So if you're expecting a surge in sales, for example, in Cyber Monday, with the risk in the past, there was a huge risk that your servers would go down because of the heavy influx of traffic. Now, you're able to scale up, meaning you're able to increase your compute power, you're able to increase your storage, and because of this, you're able to, on demand, you're able to adjust your compute power depending on your actual requirements. So lastly, again, those are the six key drivers of next gen tech that really empower the next wave of technology. So here, rather than focus on, given that I mentioned the key six drivers, I'll give an example. So for example, because of AI, we are able to create customized content. I gave an example earlier wherein, if you view the product, for example, in the past, the machine is able to understand, okay, this person likes these kinds of products. Or if you're a fan of Netflix or Spotify, right? Um, Based on your past movie views or your past listens, the app is able to better understand your preferences and recommend something that would be more relevant to you. And even fraud detection. So, for example, all of these banks, rather than doing manual credit investigations, they're able to look at your past transaction histories across multiple channels and see the likelihood of you to default. And the rates can be adjusted depending on your credit risk, right? The second one is NLP. So it's natural language processing, right? So replicate human interactions. So basically, for example, rather than have agent talk to you on the phone, all of the frequently asked questions can be passed on to a chatbot, wherein there's automated responses based on keywords. There's a flagged response for that. The third one is censored tech. So I think we're gonna see it in the next 10 years, driverless cars. So we're gonna see, I foresee, driverless cars to become something normal in the next few years, just as if you were riding an elevator, right? Where rather than drive your own car, you simply book a cab and then ride towards your destination. The fourth one is IoT, Internet of Things. So I mentioned that about smart homes. So if you have an Alexa, Google Home, simply, dictating the task you want to be done, like turn on light, turn off uh, TV, the machine is able to do that. And lastly, blockchain. So it's a decentralized way of validating, right? Decentralized way of validating the ledgers. So one example there is cryptocurrencies. So you heard a lot about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on and so forth. But the technology behind that is blockchain. I think it's more than simply cryptocurrencies, but blockchain empowers and unlocks a lot of other fields wherein it's very hard for a person to manipulate data because again, it leverages on the masses and uses um, so blockchain. The last one is takeaway number three, the new customer experience. So because of these new technologies, what would it look like from a customer perspective? What is the new customer experience? So one of the examples given there was web rooming versus showrooming. So I think a lot of us here are guilty, right? We're in web rooming is whenever we want the product, we first search online, right? First search online about it, and then we go to the store to make the actual purchase because some of us still want to see and feel the product, right? But we did all of our research prior to buying before, right? And next one is showrooming. So it's the opposite. We're in we look for a product in store, we feel it, try it on, and then we make a virtual purchase. That's why if you notice, a lot of the big box retailers like Walmart and so on have also ramped up um, their e-commerce business, mainly because it's really a balance of both. Nothing would I really think that there's still gonna be the need for retail shops, depending maybe on the product, right? So if you want to survive in the new normal, you must have a balance of both. Maybe have a good physical presence and as well as a good virtual presence. And what I liked about this new customer experience is he also highlighted the five A's, which is awareness, appeal, ask, act, and advocacy. So again, it's really about understanding the entire customer journey. So it first starts from being aware. So again, how can you as a marketer be involved in all touch points of a customer experience? So the first one, from researching to after sales and becoming fans, right? So the first one is how can you make your brand how can you make people be aware of your product, right? How can you expose your brand to these people? The second one is if they are familiar or have heard your brand, how can you appeal or catch their interest to make them actually want to know more about your product? Once you move them down the funnel, this is where you spark their interest, they want to know more. Hence the third A, which is ask. So this is where they're starting to gain interest, they're starting to do their own research to know more about your product. The fourth one is when they answer all of their questions, you caught their interest, they want to buy. This is where they act and actually make the purchase. But again, a lot of marketers end here. After they purchase, unfortunately, they don't make any follow-ups. But again, the goal is also to have repeat customers, to have that spread word of mouth. So again, it's about building an advocacy, which is the fifth A, and how can you really build your fan base, your advocates, your ambassadors? So from these five A's, you're able to walk through the journey on the entire customer experience. So as a brand, as a marketer, how can you actually be present in all stages, and how can you help move the customer through the funnel? So again, it's the fourth key highlight is it's really a hybrid approach between humans and machines. It's not purely machines replacing humans, but I think that all of the all of the tasks that are low value will be eventually automated by machines, which makes it a point wherein there will come a point wherein humans will need to increase their skill set to higher order thinking. So the downside of machines is they lack empathy, right? So machines perhaps there's gonna be a hybrid, or there's gonna be a mix between human and machine interaction, wherein machines perhaps can crunch the data, simplify all of the data gathering, insights, then humans are able to be creative. Based on these data, they're able to insert divergent thinking or creativity and insert empathy, right, in that transaction. So example, One example is product recommendations. Once again, based on your past history, what based on your past history, we're able to offer you more relevant solutions, more relevant products. So again, these are some examples of reimagining the customer experience. The second one is VR to experience a product. So again, you're not limited to the physical retail shops. Some companies are starting to use virtual reality for customers to experience their products, right? So if you wear goggles, if you see those, it's an immersive experience. And the last two is dynamic pricing. So if you noticed, it can be possible with technology. Like if there are um, if you're booking flights, right? If there's a lot of people who are looking for that specific flight, you notice that pricing may have changed. Or even your Grab or your Uber, if you notice if it's peak hours or crunch time, or a lot of people are going home trying to book, there's a surge price, what they call, right? And lastly is mass customization. So the great thing about technology is we're able to customize on a per level, on a per person level. So I'll discuss that in our fourth key takeaway. So again, that's the new customer experience. The last one is comparing the traditional segmentation versus the segment to one. So I'll first define the traditional segmentation. So in marketing class, in any marketing person you talk to, it's ingrained in their mind, right, on how to properly create your target segment. So the usual tools used is you can segment them by geography. So based on their address, where they live, and so on. Second one is based on demographics, right? Based on their age, their ethnicity, perhaps, their um, nationality, and so on and so forth, right? The third one is psychographic. So you can base it on their beliefs, values, what are they interested in, and motivations in life, right? And lastly is behavioral. So this is based on their past experience. Like for example, if you're a frequent flyer, made X purchases of this product in the past, you can predict, right? What would the likely action of that person will take. But again, this is the traditional segmentation wherein you're trying to bucket them into um, people who are most likely fit that category, right? But the great thing about segment 2 1 is with technology, with pixels, for example, you're able to pin down to a specific person, right? Like this person visited this page. For example, one example is if you're running an e-commerce shop, right? You'll be able to identify who amongst your visitors, website visitors, have actually made the purchase or have perhaps filled in their information but and added to cart but did not follow through with the purchase. Because of this, you're able to filter specifically who that person is and how you can perhaps convince or move them through the marketing funnel. Like for example, if they added a product but it's only add to cart, you can actually send them an email or trigger an email that would give them a coupon perhaps just to push them over the edge to make the purchase. Again, so what's great about marketing with technology is you're able, yes, you still use the traditional segmentation, but you're able to filter it down to a very specific criteria, and based on that criteria you could think of different strategies on how you could move them down further the funnel. So one example here is Target, huh? The Target retail outlet, right? We're in the US. There's this family wherein they were sent mail in the past. This was before technology. They were sent mail wherein it was offering them coupon for babies. So what's interesting is, the dad was quite curious. How come they kept receiving mail about coupon for babies and no one is expecting, right? After weeks and weeks of receiving the same communication, the dad finally asked his daughter if his daughter is pregnant, and she burst down in tears and cried and so on and so forth. So again, because of Target, this is one example of how you could use profiling to better cater to your customers, to increase their um, their affinity towards your brand by offering them relevant content, relevant offers. It's personalized marketing, right? And the last key takeaway is the WWW era. So it's not the World Wide Web, right? But more on the whatever, whenever, wherever era. We're in the next gen tech can help personalize marketing, wherein we can provide the right product to the right customer in the right moment and in the right place, right? So if you noticed, the Grab app, for those of you who are using Grab, you can see that from hailing a cab, from booking delivery for your documents, booking groceries, and even booking a hotel, or it's an all-in-one app. So we live in an era wherein we want everything on demand. So as a marketer, how can you actually cater to the on-demand culture that we currently have, right? So making sure that your product is relevant, your product is available to the right customer at the right place at the right time. So with that, those are my 5 key takeaways from technology to humanity to the WWW era. So with that, that summarizes this week's book. It's book number 11, Marketing 5.0. If you love the summary, you'll also love all the other book summaries I've done. So if you haven't liked and subscribed yet, please visit youtube.com, search Paulo Balinas, and click the subscribe button, and you could watch all the previous episodes. So again, this is book number 11. I look forward to book number 12 next week. Stay tuned and see you again next Sunday. Salamat and hope you like and subscribe. Thank you.